Welcome, my dear students. In this presentation, let us solve some problems related to Fourier series as far as our syllabus is concerned. That is, let us solve only some problems which shows you steps you have to follow in such problem solutions. Whenever the question is asked about finding spectrum and that is magnitude spectrum and phase spectrum for a given periodic signal, that is continuous time periodic signal. Let us solve about 4 problems in this class and solve some of the extra problems as assignment, which I'll be submitting later. I'll be uploading later. To start with, for the signal shown on the screen, find for the signal x of t the Fourier representation and draw its magnitude and phase spectra. That is, you first find the complex Fourier coefficients, then find the magnitude spectrum out of it and also the phase spectrum. Let us see how we can proceed on this. If I want to talk about the signal, what is shown on the screen is a periodic signal. It's a continuous time periodic signal with the time period 1 second. That is, you can see after every 1 unit, it's not given. This is 1 cycle. It starts here and ends here. It's actually exponential falling kind of signal. That is, its value is 1. It starts falling exponentially at a rate that is as per the equation e power of minus t, and when it reaches 1 second, it again starts all over again. That is, it doesn't become 0 as such. It reaches some value, then again the signal jumps to 1, then again starts falling, and at another 1 unit of time it again jumps to the original value 1, then starts falling. So therefore it is a repeating periodic signal with the time period t is equal to 1 second. What is the Fourier spectrum? That is, what are the frequency components present in the signal? That is, what is the complex Fourier coefficients? Let us find using the formula we have seen in the last lecture. To start with, the given signal is periodic with the time period t is equal to 1 second. Hence, the fundamental angular frequency of the signal is omega naught is equal to 2 pi by t. This is the normal formula we follow in every problem. That is how we have to find the fundamental frequency, because every signal has what is called fundamental frequency and harmonic frequencies. The fundamental frequency of the signal is frequency of the signal itself in terms of radians per second, that is 2 pi by t. Here t is 1 second, therefore fundamental frequency is 2 pi radians per second. In every second it covers 2 pi radians in the frequency scale. Okay, now to proceed, let us first draw the signal equation, because we need to represent the signal in terms of an equation. Because it is a periodic signal, it is better to represent the value of the signal in one period. That is what you have written here. We have the equation for the given signal as x of t is equal to e power of minus what is over here. So you can see signal minus t in the time duration 0 to 1 second, and waveform repeats itself. That is, at the end of 1 second, same way the signal value repeats. So it is enough if you write the equation for one period. Then it is a periodic signal. No, it will repeat as per the equation that is been shown here. Okay, now Fourier complex Fourier coefficients are given by the exponential form of Fourier series that we have discussed in the last class. The formula for the exponential form of Fourier series is x of k. That is, for k frequency, the equation is integration of x of t into e power of minus j k omega naught t. You have to integrate that after multiplying with the signal x of t, integrate that over the time period 0 to 1 second and divide by the time period itself. That is 1 upon t. It is a scaling factor actually. It's a division for this equation. So it is nothing but integration from the limit 0 to t, that is 1 period of the signal, complete 1 period, x of t into e power of minus j k omega naught t. So this is nothing but complex exponential function. You are multiplying with signal, then integrating over a time period. Then what is x of t? X of t is e power of minus t. Therefore, I am substituting it. T is equal to 1 second, and x of t is e power of minus t, and omega naught is 2 pi radians. Everything is substituted here. You can see omega naught is 2 pi, and x of t is e power of minus t, and t is 1 second. So we will simplify the equation. I am rearranging because it is e to the power in both the functions, e to the power. No, So I'm combining the power. See, when I combine the power, I can simplify in this form. It is mathematical step. So now I have to integrate e power of minus bracket 1 plus j 2 pi k bracket close t. So it is a time domain function e power of minus t into a constant. So this I'm integrating. So as per the mathematical formula, so e power of ax integrate with respect to x is e power of ax by x. So in the form of here, actually x is nothing but this constant 1 plus j 2 pi k. So it is e power of minus that constant into k divided by the constant itself. Because that constant has a minus sign, so minus sign will come here. Now apply the limits 0 to 1 and simplify the equation. So here what I I am applying the limits t is equal to 1 and t is equal to 0. This is the way I simplify. What I do is I expand it. When I expand the power, I get like this: e power of minus 1 into e power of minus j 2 pi k. In the place of t, I'm writing 1 upper limit, then minus e power of actually it is it is t, therefore it is 1 here because it is t is 1. Here t is 0, e power of minus 0 into e power of minus j into 0, because here actually t is 0, no, therefore everything becomes 0. Now therefore this equation simplifies to this: x of k is equal to 1 minus e to the power of minus k 1 plus. So this is how this equation simplifies to, because minus sign I'm taking inside, so it becomes 1 minus e to the power of minus 1, because all these things will be this will become 1, this will become 1, and also this is anyway 1 into 1, so this is 1 and this is also 1. So this is a constant, e power of minus 1 is a constant. So because I'm taking minus sign inside, so this will come here and this will go to this position. So 1 minus e to the power minus k divided by 1 plus j 2 pi k. You can see numerator is a scalar, whereas denominator is a complex. It's in the complex form. It is in the real form. Numerator is real form. Denominator is complex. Here actually k actually ranges from 0 to infinity. Now the formula we have defined for a complex coefficient of Fourier is from k is equal to 0 to infinity, all integers up to infinity. So okay, now what is the magnitude spectra? That is, what is the magnitude of this? I should find the magnitude. For finding magnitude, there is numerator magnitude by denominator magnitude. Numerator magnitude is a constant. I can calculate. I can use a calculator. It is numerator magnitude is 1 minus e power of minus 1 will be exactly this. It's a constant magnitude itself, whereas denominator is a complex number, no, 1 plus j 2 pi k. So it is a plus jb form. So magnitude is square root of a square plus b square. The magnitude of a complex number a plus jb is, its magnitude is square root of a square plus b square. Here a is 1, b is 2 pi k. So I am taking magnitude of denominator. So this is the magnitude spectrum. Now we can see a magnitude spectrum is a function of k, where k values are all natural numbers 0 to infinity, all integers 0 to infinity. So you can substitute the value of k and find the value of that coefficient. That is, if I put the value of k is equal to 0, I'll get x at 0. There is a DC value. What is the DC value of the signal? That is average value of the signal. That is, by putting k is equal to 0, I have to find out. Then I should go on putting the values for k 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. up to infinity. I'll get all other Fourier coefficients. That's what I'm doing now in the next few steps. You can see one by one. So this is the, put k is equal to 0, x of 0 is equal to, here put k is equal to 0. So square root of 1 square root of 1 square plus 0 square is nothing but 0.632. This is the DC value of the given waveform. It is non-zero DC value. It has got some average value, that is value at the origin of the spectrum. So if I put k is equal to 1, I'll get x at 1. So this is the fundamental frequency of the given spectrum. That is the signals, periodic signals fundamental frequency, the magnitude is 0.1. That is the Fourier coefficient magnitude is 0.1 at the fundamental frequency. That is, the fundamental sine wave's amplitude is 0.1 unit, whatever. you take whether volts, amps or millivolts, milliamps, anything depending on the signal, or any other non-electrical quantity also you can take. For that, the fundamental frequency, the fundamental sine wave, fundamental component has a magnitude 0.1 hertz at f is equal to 1, that whatever fundamental frequency of the signal. Then put k is equal to 2, I'll get the second harmonic. This is called second harmonic. You can see both odd and even harmonics are present. That means this signal, the given signal is neither even nor odd. Therefore, both the odd and even components are present. I think all other components also will be non-zero. You go and put in the values of k in this expression. No, you go and put in the value of k, you'll get the values of magnitude spectrum, which you are going to plot later. So once again, I'm writing here. So all these values are already found. That is fundamental value. It's also called as first harmonic, because all the frequencies are harmonically related, no, integer multiples of fundamental. Therefore, first harmonic or fundamental value is this. X at 1 is equal to 0.1 units. Then x at 2, that is second harmonic, 0.05. X at 3, 0.03. Yeah, what I'm doing is in this particular equation, no, I'm using this equation. I'm going on putting the value of k. K is equal to 3 means put 3. 6 pi square. K is equal to 4 means put k is equal to 4. 2 4s are 8, 8 pi square, like that. The value keeps on, as you can see, as the frequency number increases, the amplitude keeps on decreasing. That is a speciality of Fourier spectrum. As the amplitude, as the frequency increases, amplitude decreases. So if you further increase at x4, it is further less. Therefore, if you go on calculating, you can go on calculating like this: k is equal to 5, 6, 7, 8, etc. up to k is equal to infinity. So value keep on decreasing. So it's enough to plot the spectrum, no? It is enough to get only few values starting from the origin. Therefore, I have found only up to 4. Now, what about the phase spectra? How to find phase spectra? See, phase spectra is nothing but it is an angle, numerator angle minus denominator angle. So in this equation, if you take this equation in the original form, numerator angle is 0 because numerator is nothing but a constant, no? It's a real number, no? So its angle is 0. Therefore, 0 minus denominator was a complex number, no? It was actually 1 plus j 2 pi k, isn't it? 1 plus j 2 pi k. So it's a complex number. So its angle is tan inverse of b by a. B was 2 pi k, a was 1. So angle in the denominator was tan inverse of 2 pi k, that is b, divided by a, that is 1. So numerator angle minus denominator angle, that is how we find the angle of a ratio number. So 0 minus tan inverse of 2 pi k by a. Once again, you can see phase spectra is a function of k. For all different frequencies starting from 0 hertz DC value, so angle you can calculate. If you go and put in the value of k as 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. up to infinity, you will get all the phase angles of the harmonic component. All the frequency components phase angle, that is starting phase angle, you will get. So you can draw the phase spectra. Because the signal was neither even nor odd signal, no. Therefore, it has got also phase spectra. So let us see what are the phase spectrum values by putting k is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So in this equation, I'm going to put and find the angle. See, when I put k is equal to 0, I'm getting 0 radians. Of course, the first component is 0 means 0 hertz. It's a DC component. So its angle is 0, that is the origin, 0 radians. It's always the case because a DC signal doesn't have, a DC component doesn't have phase angle. So at k is equal to 0, the angle becomes 0 radians. Fundamental component, that is at k is equal to 1, the angle, it lags by some angle minus 1.41 radians. The second harmonic, put k is equal to 2, you'll get the angle, it further lags some reference by 1.49 radians, and so on. If you go on putting k value at higher and higher, the angle of lag keep on increasing. So now we are ready with the few samples of amplitude spectra and phase spectra. We can plot it. Now we can plot the graph of amplitude versus frequency and phase angle versus frequency, which are called magnitude spectra and phase spectra for the signal. So magnitude spectra, see what I do is I always plot like this, that is k is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. and k is equal to -1, -2, that's how we get the Fourier component, that is both for positive frequency and negative frequency. Here negative frequency means actually rotating in the clockwise direction, vectors rotating in the anti-clockwise direction. So actually they are symmetrical about the origin always. That's how the magnitude spectra looks like. It's exactly an even kind of signal. Frequency plot is even, and you can see at k equal to 1 and k equal to -1, the values are similar. At k equal to 2 and k equal to -2, values are similar. So it is actually an even kind of signal. So this is the magnitude spectra. That is, these are the frequency component present in the given signal. That is, it has got a DC component of 0.63 units amplitude, and fundamental frequency, fundamental complex frequency 0.1 amplitude at frequency scale 1. That is whatever fundamental frequency, 2 pi radians was the fundamental frequency, so 1 hertz it was. Basically the frequency of the given signal is 1 hertz. So it is at 1 hertz, this is the amount of energy present, sine wave energy, that is complex exponential energy present. This is the second frequency component present in the signal at twice the fundamental frequency, that is second harmonic, twice the fundamental frequency. The amplitude is 0.05 units. As the harmonic content number increases, that is third harmonic, the amplitude is slightly less than the previous values. As the harmonic number increases, as the frequency component increases, amplitude keep on decreasing. So major components are at DC, the fundamental, second harmonic, third harmonic, fourth, fifth, maybe sixth. After that, value will be so small that we can sometimes neglect. So energy is present more in the fundamental. After DC component, more energy fundamental, a kind of energy second harmonic, third harmonic, energy component keeps on reducing. So most of the energy is present in the low frequency components. This is how the phase spectra of the signal is, and magnitude spectra of the signal is. And the phase spectra, if I want to plot the phase angle versus frequency, so you see, as the DC component has a zero phase, fundamental frequency, fundamental component lags the reference by 1.41 radians. As a fundamental frequency component number increases, the angle of lag keep on increasing. Always phase spectra is antisymmetric, because one is leading a lagging angle, other one is the leading angle. Because I have seen here the two magnitudes are same, they only oppose in phase. Actually, compared to these values, these values are always opposite in phase. So you can see minus 1.41 plus, it's a leading, lagging, leading. This value and this value is same, this value and this value will remain same, only angle difference. That's how we always plot the phase spectra whenever signal is neither even nor odd. So this is the phase spectra, this is the magnitude spectra, and this is what the frequency domain representation of the given signal is. So we are given the time domain representation, we just now plotted the frequency domain representation of the given signal. So let us again recapitulate all the things, that is time domain and domain signal. So this was a time domain signal given to us, that is, it is called time domain because I am plotting graph of the signal value x of t, the signal value at any time t versus time. So the domain is time, x-axis is time, x-axis is always domain, domain is time. Therefore this representation is called as time domain representation. Now frequency domain representation, same magnitude, either RMS value or peak value, I am plotting with respect to frequency component, not with respect to time. So in the frequency domain, the time information gets totally lost. In the time domain, there is no frequency information. They actually complement each other. That is, both you cannot get time as well as frequency in Fourier. For that you have to go for some other transform, like Fourier transform. You may require to find both time and frequency in the same representation. So now its frequency representation is Fourier series representation because it is a periodic signal. It is a continuous time periodic signal. Therefore the frequency domain representation is continuous time Fourier series, which is obtained as follows. Fundamental frequency is 2 pi radians per second. Fourier series representation, phase magnitude spectra first, that is this is the magnitude spectra. You can see this is the phase spectra. Both of them together are to be considered to get the complete information of a signal. So this is the frequency domain representation, whereas this is the time domain representation. To convert representation from one form to another, we require Fourier series because a given signal is continuous time periodic. If it is continuous time non-periodic, you should have used Fourier transform formula. That is, tool for converting a non-periodic continuous time signal is continuous time Fourier transform, or CFT. That is continuous Fourier transform. Now if the signal were periodic but sampled, that is the signal is discrete and periodic, then you should have used continuous time Fourier series. Sorry, discrete time Fourier series. If the time domain signal is periodic and discrete, then you should use discrete time Fourier series. If the signal is continuous and periodic, you have to use continuous time Fourier series. So now we are focusing only one representation, that is continuous time Fourier series or simply Fourier series. This is how we represent signal in time domain and frequency domain. Let us move on to the next problem. As I told, I will be solving around 4 problems now. Next problem. Find the Fourier series coefficient for the signal x of t shown in figure. In this problem, it is enough if you just find the Fourier series coefficient. Sometimes the problem will be given like this only, where you have to find only what is equation for x of k, capital X of k. Now given x of t, that is small x with respect to time, always see this. So in time domain we use small letter for the signal representation. In the frequency domain we use capital letter. If I use any other letter, it's, for example, if I use a instead of x, then it is small a, this is capital A. Just to differentiate the two different way of representation. In time domain graph, time is a variable, x is dependent value. In frequency domain representation, k, the frequency number, that is frequency index, is a variable, k is a variable, and x is its value in that particular frequency component. I have to find x of k, what, for the given signal. You have a close look at the given signal. See, first of all, confirm that it is periodic. You can use Fourier series only when the time domain signal is periodic, not when it is non-periodic. If it is non-periodic, you have to go for Fourier transform representation. Now you can see the given signal is clearly noticeable. It is half wave rectified sine wave, because see, one sine pulse is present. They also given the equation of this graph as sine pi t, that this is definitely a sine pulse, whereas from 1 to 2 the pulse is absent, it is 0. From 0 to 1 it is varying like a sine pulse. From 1 to 2 it is absent, means it is totally eliminated. Using half wave rectification, the negative half cycle is eliminated. Again it repeats. 2 to 3 again sine wave appears, and again 3 to 4 it is absent. Again 4 to 5 sine wave present, 5 to 6 it is absent. That means one cycle starts at 1, ends at 2, for instance. I can take this as one cycle. Or similarly, if I take here, it starts at 2, ends at 4. This is also another cycle. This is also one cycle. I can take anywhere. It starts at 4 and ends at 6, and so on. So I'll take only one cycle and the beginning, that is my time period is now 2 seconds. From this graph I'm getting time period is 2 seconds. That is every 2 seconds the waveform repeats. Every 2 seconds the waveform repeats. So time period is t second. Therefore fundamental frequency omega naught is, therefore by formula it is 2 pi divided by time period t. 2 pi by t is 2, therefore it is equal to pi. That is pi radians per second. Fundamental frequency is pi radians per second. So I require both time period information as well as fundamental frequency information in order to use the complex Fourier frequency equation expression. That's what I'm doing next. By observing the graph, I can get t is equal to 2 seconds, omega naught is equal to pi radians per second. Therefore I'm using okay, now equation anyway I told you, in one half cycle, that is from 0 to 1 second, the waveform varies like sine pi t. You can see amplitude is 1. Here it is 1 into something, no? The peak value is 1. Amplitude it is called as. Sine wave amplitude is 1. Therefore it is 1 into sine pi t, or simply sine pi t in the time of 0 to 1 second. From 1 to 2 second, it is 0. So this is the complete graph of the given signal in one cycle. That's what is required to represent the Fourier series component. So I require the graph of the waveform for one complete cycle, because after that same thing repeats. I need not go on giving the value because it is a periodic sequence, no, periodic signal, no. If I know for once frequency one period how it behaves, if I know, then same thing repeats. See, same thing repeats. Here it repeats again. Here also it repeats again. It repeats itself time after time. That is for every 2 seconds it repeats. Therefore the equation is x of t is equal to sine pi t in the time of 0 to 1 seconds, then 0 in the time of 0 to 2 seconds, and the waveform repeats itself. So this is the equation required. I require t information, I require omega naught information, I require x of t to apply into the graph. Now I am going to apply into the expression. Now I am going to write the expression. Fourier coefficients are given by exponential form of Fourier series. I am using exponential form of Fourier series because that makes my job simple. I can directly write the Fourier coefficients in complex form. Then I plot the magnitude if required as a spectrum. I can also plot phase angle as a spectrum by computing the value, by simply substituting the value of k. That's what I'm doing. This formula already you have seen in our previous problem. X of k, the complex Fourier coefficient x of k is equal to 1 upon t integration 0 to t of x of t, the signal value in this period into e power of minus j k w naught t. Here w naught means fundamental frequency, that is in this case pi radians. Here x of t is this formula, that is this equation sin pi t, and t is 2 seconds. T is 2 seconds. So if I substitute everything, the equation becomes like this. See the equation here, 0 to 1, and the see actually the time period is 0. See, another interesting thing is, see what I'm writing here is, see time period is 1 by 2, but I'm integrating only from 0 to 1. See the limits. Why? This is why, because only 0 to 1 the signal equation is sin pi t. From 1 to 2 it is 0, no? From 1 to 2 it is 0. Therefore, I am integrating only from 0 to 1. If I write 1 to 2, it is 0. 0 into anything is 0. Therefore, second part I am ignoring. I am ignoring only one part. Out of one time period, 1 by 2, that is out of one time period, 2 seconds, I am integrating only from 0 to 1 second. Because the signal graph is only defined from 0 to 1 second, and 1 to 2 it is 0. Therefore, other part will be 0. So, this is the limit of integration. Now, what I am doing is, I am writing the sin pi t using Euler's formula. This is Euler's formula for sin pi t. Sin pi t is equal to, because I know e to the power of j theta, e to the power of j theta is cos theta plus j sin theta. Cos theta plus j sin theta. J sin theta. Sin theta. Similarly, e power of minus j cos theta, e power of minus j theta, if I write, it is nothing but cos theta minus j sin theta. So if I simplify the two equation, I can get sin theta is equal to always e power of j theta minus e power of minus j theta divided by 2j. This is what I get. Actually sin pi t I am replacing by this formula. That is, by using Euler's formula, I can always prove sin theta is equal to e power of j theta minus e power of minus j theta divided by 2j. In the place of theta, there is pi t. Wherever theta is there, replaced by pi t. Sin pi t is equal to e power of j pi t minus e power of minus j pi t divided by 2j. This is Euler's formula. By Euler's formula, I am making the overall problem solution simple. Otherwise, it is difficult to integrate. Therefore, I am simplifying using Euler's formula. Now, I will rearrange mathematically. So, because here also e to the power of something is there, here also e to the power of something is there, no? I will open the bracket, mathematically combine the terms. What I get is this. When I rub this, see. So, I'm taking this, I'm just opening the bracket and combining. What I did is, I combined e power of jt with this and e power of minus jt with this, so that I can rearrange. This is the mathematical step. I won't explain. You know it. You try it on your own. Then, okay. Then what I do is I will integrate, because I know the formula of e power of ax. No, when I integrate e power of ax, what I get is the answer is e power of ax divided by a. E power of ax. If I integrate with respect to x, a is a constant here. When I integrate with respect to x, the answer is e power of ax divided by a, constant a. This formula I am using, so I will get this. In the place of a, I have got j bracket 1 minus k pi t. Sorry, pi. T is a variable here. I am integration with respect to t. So constant is this. This is constant. See, this much is constant except pi t, except t. So here also the constant is e power of minus j 1 plus k pi t. Once again, minus j 1 plus k pi is a constant, t is the integration variable. So this is what I get. Then I will simplify this. It's a mathematical step. I am actually taking once again I am writing the same thing. I am taking j onto the outside the bracket, because j is common. No, I am taking outside the bracket. Now these steps you can see, you can easily understand. I'll take j outside last, in the end. Now what I'm doing is I'm expanding this. See this formula. I've written everything in detail here. I won't explain this. It will be a waste of time, because already you know all these steps, mathematical steps. Please go through this formula. I'm writing directly this much. I'm writing here like this, and this much I'm writing like this. How? you can refer to this formula and this formula. Please go through your PPT slide I have given. Also write down these equations. You'll come to know how I got this from here to here, how I came. I'm using Euler's identity here quite frequently and converting that into this form. Now what I'm doing is, next step, I'm taking j outside. When I take j outside, becomes j square. I'm also taking pi outside because j and pi are the two common things. Now I can take in, I'm taking outside, it becomes 1 upon 4 j square pi. You know j square is -1. Now I am taking LCM. I'm combining these two terms. So when I take the LCM, it is 1 square minus k square, or 1 minus k square, then cross multiplying. I'm simplifying this. It's a mathematical step. Please go through this also. I won't explain this with the mathematical step. It is already you've done many times this kind of problem. And then simplifying it this way. So see, j square becomes -1. So it gets simplified, because here actually this much term is this much term, no, this much term and this much term is a common. So I'm taking outside. When I take it outside, it comes here. See, it comes here as an outside. Then inside factors will be 1 plus k and 1 minus k. K cancels, so becomes 2. 1 plus k plus 1 minus k is 2. So this has come outside as a constant factor. So here once again here simplification takes place. 2 1s are 2 2s are. So finally what I get is this expression. See this expression. So my aim was to get the Fourier coefficient. No, Fourier coefficient x of k is equal to Fourier coefficient x of k is equal to this. This is what I was searching for. Now since it's not asked to plot the spectrum, I won't do it. If you want to plot the spectrum, simply put the values of k as 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. and you find out the spectrum on your own. You'll get the required graph. Since nothing is asked here about that, I'm leaving out here. So this is the value of the Fourier coefficients for different values of. So this is what I get, and that is the end of the problem. For different values of k, you can find the Fourier coefficients. Now next is next problem. So same problem, not same problem, similar kind of problem, but there is a difference now in this case. So you can see x of t is equal to, here in this problem what they are doing is plot and find the Fourier series coefficients of the periodic signal. X of t is equal to modulus sine 2 pi t. So they are not given the graph. Sometimes they will give only the equation. Only the equation they will give. You have to plot the graph. What is the meaning of modulus of sine 2 pi t? So if I take sine 2 pi t, sine of 2 pi t is a sine wave of frequency omega 2 pi. So this is of the form sine omega t, okay, omega is 2 pi. It is a sine wave, amplitude 1 into, no, amplitude 1. So this is nothing but a sine wave, okay, sine wave. It's a positive half cycle, negative half cycle, positive half cycle, negative half cycle, positive time period, and I mean positive time. In the negative time, it's actually, this is how sine wave is plotted, no? So it is like this, etc. It goes on like this, and it goes on like this. It goes on its own like this. So this is t, correct, or theta to be more precise. If I take it as time, okay, you can take it as time also. This is one period, time period t, okay, t. Now this is sine 2 pi t, okay, sine 2 pi t. Amplitude is 1, correct, 1, and negative amplitude is -1, because it is 1 into something. No, nothing is given here, means it is 1 into something. This is 1 into something, 1 sine 2 pi t. Now what is the meaning of this line modulus? They have drawn this modulus. Now why they have drawn? That is, it is a graph, x of t is a graph which varies like sine wave, but only mod you have to take. Only mod means take sine wave, don't take negative part. Take negative part as positive part only. See, mod means what? Magnitude. This is the same magnitude. Here it's a negative going part. No, its magnitude is same thing, positive. Its magnitude. Only take its magnitude, not the sign. Sign is negative, but its magnitude is increasing, similar to the first half cycle. There is no difference between first half cycle and second half cycle. as far as magnitude is concerned, only direction changes. See, if you take one full sine wave, its positive magnitude is same as negative magnitude. In negative magnitude, values are negative, otherwise magnitude remains same. That means when you take only the magnitude, you have to consider only the magnitude, means you take positive half cycle as it is. Negative half cycle also take positive half cycle only, because you are considering only magnitude. No. This is what the meaning of this graph is. You take only mod. Never bother about the sign. You plot only the mod. Plot graph as a mod of sine of t. That is positive half cycle and negative half cycle also same as positive half cycle, because you're taking the mod of the negative. Mean this. So that means if you take for every half cycle, if you take that, no, your waveform looks like this. Your waveform looks like this. Your waveform looks like this. This is what the graph is. That means it is a full wave rectified signal. Previously, in the previous problem, we used a half wave rectified signal. No, there the graph was directly given. Here, instead of graph, equation was given. No, so that means you have to, from the equation, you have to plot the graph in this way. If they had given sine 2 pi t, I should have taken sine wave only. But it is not sine wave. They have taken mod. No, mod you have to take. Mod means actually this is the rectified signal, full wave rectified signal. That's what the graph should look like. Let us see. See, same thing. I'm actually same thing. I'll delete all these things, erase all these things to make the illustration. So this is what actually I mean. So actually, why it is taken as 1, and because in this case now, when I took sine wave, omega was 2 pi. They are given omega was 2 pi. Originally omega is 2 pi. No, omega is 2 pi, or in the original sine wave. That means 2 pi f. Omega is what? 2 pi f. No, 2 pi f or 2 pi by t. 2 pi by t is 2 pi. 2 pi by t is 2 pi. Therefore, what is t? T equal to 1. Therefore, in the original signal, t is equal to 1. The original signal, t is equal to 1. That means if this is the full sine wave as the original signal, t is equal to 1. Now, because of rectification, the time period becomes half. The original signal, it was 1. It was 1 because when I draw sine 2 pi t, no, from this sine 2 pi t, if I find the angular frequency, that is omega, it is 2 pi. Then therefore 2 pi by t, that is 2 pi by t is equal to 2 pi, because omega is always 2 pi by t. Therefore t is 1 in the original signal. After rectification, time period becomes half. That is frequency doubles. Frequency becomes twice. You know, in a rectifier application, if the fundamental frequency is 50 Hz, after full wave rectification, frequency becomes 100 Hz. Frequency doubles. Therefore time period becomes half. Originally time period was 1 second. Now the time period is t is equal to half. T is equal to half. Now in this given waveform, t is equal to half. Because of rectification, time period becomes half. Therefore fundamental frequency omega is always the formula is 2 pi by t, 2 pi by t, 2 pi by t. So 2 pi by half means it will be 4 pi. Or fundamental frequency will be 4 pi, twice the frequency of the normal sine wave. The half full wave rectified signal will have the frequency 4 pi. Half wave rectified signal will have the frequency 2 pi in radians per second. Now it is 4 pi in this particular case. So that's what I'm going to get now. T is equal to half, omega t is equal to 2 pi by t, which is 4 pi. Okay, now equation is anyway given here. So the equation of the signal is this, x of t directly they are given, no? Therefore I can this is what I am actually getting. I'll erase this first. See, this is what the already you know this formula. X of k is equal to 1 by t, integration over the time period, x of t into e power of minus j k times omega naught into t, k times omega naught into t. Here x of t is sine 2 pi t. Modulus I can ignore, because since you are writing expression, the modulus doesn't have any meaning here in this inside the formula. Ignore that. So the limit of integration is 0 to 1. Time is half. Time is half, but integration limit is 0 to from where to where it is? 0 to half. Sorry, here time period is 0 to half. No, 0 to half. That means integration limit also from 0 to half. This is what I get. So this is actually, so this is 0 to half sine 2 pi t e power of in the place of omega naught I am writing 4 pi, because omega naught is 4 pi, no, I am writing 4 pi k times 4 pi t sine 2 pi t. So you can ignore the next equation. I am ignoring the modulus, because in this cycle, no, 0 to half, it will normal sine wave. Therefore I can ignore the modulus. So what I am writing is, once again, by using Euler's identity, now using the Euler's formula, I am writing sine 2 pi t as e power of j 2 pi t minus e power of minus j 2 pi t divided by 2j. In the place of, if you consider theta in the place of 2 pi t, so sine theta is equal to e power of j theta minus e power of minus j theta divided by 2j. That's what the Euler's formula is. Wherever sine is there, you can use Euler's formula, so that you can make the integration process a simple one. Then you combine, because you can open the bracket and simplify that part, you know very well, mathematical part. You'll get this. So now you will get this. You can take 2j outside. When you take 2j outside, 2 cancels. So here j is taken out, and it is simplified. Integration takes place. You can see what happens next. Okay, integration takes place here. So here minus sign, no, minus j comes, no. Why this minus j comes? Okay, what they have done is, actually when you take 2j outside, no, when you take 2j outside, 2 by 2j, no, 2 by 2j, they can keep it like this only, or else they can, to further make it simplify, you can multiply both numerator and denominator by j. You can do that always, no. When you do that, so 2 cancels, j into j is minus 1. So this becomes minus j. This becomes minus j. So it is minus j into, therefore when I take 2j outside, so 2 by 2j is minus j. 2 cancels, so that's why minus j comes here. Then rest of the thing is integration. You know, integration in this case, this is a constant. You can see here j 2 pi into 1 minus 2k is a constant. So therefore that factor comes to the denominator. And once again here minus j 2 pi 1 plus 2k is a constant. Therefore that factor comes to the denominator. So apply the limits and simplify this. Simplify this, you'll get this expression. This is the end of the, you don't have, because anyway they didn't ask about spectrum, no, so you can simplify this only up to here and leave it there itself. If they ask you to spectrum, then simply put k is equal to 0 1 2 3 4 etc. Find the value. It's very easy to find. You can easily find using Euler's identity. E power of, whenever e power of j something is there, no, use the Euler's formula, you'll get the requisite answer. But different values of k, you'll get different values of x. X at 0, x at 1, x at 2, x at 3, then plot the graph as the magnitude spectrum. Sometimes you can ignore the phase spectrum. It's not that much important sometimes. Only if asked you plot, otherwise only plot the magnitude spectrum. Okay, next problem. Find the Fourier series representation for the periodic impulse train shown in the figure and draw the spectrum. So there is another name for the periodic impulse train, that is Dirac-Coombe. It's another name given. It's a Dirac function, because it is actually impulse comes one after another. It's a periodic impulse. It is also called as periodic train. Why? Because each of these impulse, you can think of a railway coach. They are of same shape and same distance. No, see the distance between the two impulse. It is t0 seconds. Between these t0 seconds and these two impulse, also distance is t0 seconds. Therefore the instants of occurrence of impulse are 0 seconds, t0 seconds, 2 into t0 seconds, 3 into t0 seconds. So they are equidistant and they come one after another, no, they look like a train. Therefore they are also called as impulse train. This if you go, it goes on up to infinity and also minus infinity. It is a infinity coach train. You can think like that. It's only imaginary, no, it's possible to imagine anyway. It's possible to imagine like an infinite impulse train. So it is also called as Dirac-Coombe signal. X of t is equal to, so here the frequency is 1 by t0. So if you take where t naught is the time between the two impulses, because in impulse itself doesn't have time because it's only an occurrence at one instant of time. So distance between the two instants is one time period. Frequency is 1 by t naught, frequency of the train. Amplitude is 1. It is 1. It is unit impulse. Everywhere its value is 1. Only it occurs at different instants of time with a time wave of t naught seconds. For this particular time domain signal, what is the Fourier series uh, representation, or what is the spectrum of this particular function? So because it is periodic, definitely you can find the Fourier series. It is very interesting to note that in this particular case, even spectrum looks exactly like this. Now it's very interesting. You're going to see that amplitude of each spectrum will be 1 by t naught, and shape of the spectrum will be exactly same as shape of its time domain counterpart. There is no difference between the shape of an impulse train in the time domain, an impulse train in the frequency domain. In the place of t, there will be frequencies, and amplitude will be 1 by t naught. Otherwise, shape will remain the same. It's a very interesting problem it is. Let us see how to get the spectrum of this signal in the slides to follow. This is what the given signal is. So this is the time period. As I told you, time period is t naught seconds, time between the two pulses, and therefore the frequency, fundamental frequency, is always important in case of Fourier series. Fundamental frequency omega naught is equal to 2 pi by t, that is 2 pi by t naught. Using this, let us find the spectrum. X of k is equal to 1 by t integration x of t e power of minus j k omega naught. This is the formula for Fourier series coefficients. So I'm in the place of t, I'm writing t naught. In the place of x of t, I'm writing delta t. And delta t in one time period. One time period is 0 to t naught seconds. I'm integrating 0 to t naught seconds delta t into this. Now what I'm doing is this, how to get this integral. So you know omega t occurs only once in this time, no, from 0 to t naught it occurs only once. That is, this is the signal. Then up to t naught there is no signal. Then again one more signal occurs. So therefore, for all these duration, signal occurred only at t is equal to 0. At t is equal to 0 it is 1. Otherwise it is 0. That means this integral is 0 everywhere except at t naught. This integral, no, product will be 0 everywhere in the time period except at t is equal to 0. Therefore now I am making use of one important property of impulse. That is this property. One of the property of impulse says that if you integrate any function x of t with the delta t with respect to time, that is, if suppose there is delta t, one single function, if I integrate with if I multiply with x of t, then integrate it with respect to time for the entire duration, the net value is x at naught, whatever the value of the signal at the occurrence of the impulse. Where the impulse is occurring here? At t is equal to 0. At t is equal to 0. That means when I multiply any function, if I multiply any function with an impulse occurring at some instant t is equal to 0, then except this value of the signal, everywhere the product is 0. That means the product is always x at t naught. Whatever value of x at t naught, wherever, if impulse occurs at any other instance t minus t naught, then if I multiply, then it is a signal value only at this instant wherever signal occurs. Now because signal is occurring at the origin in this product, in this integral, so it is the value of the signal at x is equal to 0. That means this is the value of the integral. Whole integral now becomes a constant. There is x value at t is equal to 0. And I'm making use of this property to evaluate this integral. To evaluate this integral, I'm making use of this property of integral. Then here in the place of x of t, I got e power of j something. E power of j into k 2 pi by t naught into t. This is the function x of t now. So in wherever t is there, put t is equal to 0. So put this t is equal to 0. What I get if I put t is equal to 0? See, this is delta t. This is x of t. So what I get if I put t is equal to 0, that is x of t, no? This x of t here, in this, if I put t is equal to 0, what I get is 1 by t naught. So x of k is 1 by t naught. It's constant. X of k is constant for all values of k For all values of k starting from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 up to infinity, the value remain always constant 1 by t naught. And at every point, it is nothing but one impulse. I'm going to get. This is what the spectra is. And magnitude spectra, phase spectra will be 0 because it is a even function, no? The graph was a even function, therefore magnitude spectrum will be absent. Only phase, phase spectrum will be absent. Magnitude spectrum will be this. I'm sorry, very sorry. Phase spectrum, it doesn't exist. Only magnitude spectrum for this particular signal. It looks like exactly the time domain counterpart, no? So if I find the Fourier coefficient of a impulse train, it will result in another impulse train in frequency. Exactly, x of t becomes x of k. So shape doesn't get altered. On the place of time, you'll get frequency indexes. Okay, now find the Fourier coefficient of the given signal x of t. So this problem is again self-explanatory. I'm not going to explain much. Only what I'm explaining is we have to find a Fourier series once again and draw the spectra. He's asking you to draw the spectra. Find the Fourier series and draw the spectra. So once again, this is the periodic signal, no? It is a triangular pulse. If I take one period, how to take the period here? I can take period anywhere. Either I can take period from here to here, because you can see signal decreases, becomes 0 and reaches a peak value, again decreases, so it's one period. Or I can take from here to here. I can take this way also is one period. For time scale, no? This time scale is valid for everywhere, anywhere it is valid. If I take here, so up to here it is one time period. If I take here, up to here is one time period. It is valid actually. So I'm taking this time period to make the equation simple. I'm making a time period starting at t is equal to -1, ending at t is equal to +1, so that I can easily write the graph. Now what I can easily write the equation for the graph. What is the equation for the graph now? Now I should tell from t greater than -1 to t less than 0. This is one graph, that is rising ramp. It is a ramp signal. It rises. The constant slope 1, it rises. Then if I want to get the signal x of t for t greater than 0 and t less than 1, then it is a falling ramp. It is a decreasing ramp. Ramp with a negative slope, ramp with a positive slope. So if I can explain these two sections of the signal, no, rest it repeats. That's what I'm going to do now. See, this is the time period. By observation, time period is 2 seconds. Then t omega, therefore fundamental frequency is 2 pi by t is equal to pi, because t is 2, no, 2 cancels. So fundamental frequency is pi radians per second. So now see, this is the equation of the signal. Actually this is a ramp which is shifted by 1 unit. T means, if it is t, that ramp starts at origin, isn't it? Now when it is 1 plus t, that is, it is time advanced by 1 unit. That means this ramp starts at -1. Then from -1 to 0, this ramp is 1 plus 1. The equation of the ramp is -1 to t is equal to 0. This is the first part of the signal. So this equation is with respect to this rising ramp. Then this graph, falling ramp. How to get this falling ramp? To get the falling ramp, suppose you have the original ramp. You had the original ramp. You time advance original ramp by 1 unit, so it becomes 1 plus t. If this is -1, that is, this is t, this is 1 plus t, which is the equation for this ramp. See, 1 plus t. Now if I flip this signal, what happens? If I flip this signal with the origin, if I flip the signal, the graph will become like this. See, if I flip it, graph will become like this. This will become +1. This -1 to 0, flip means it is, the signal goes from 1 to 0. I'm just time shifting, time reversing it. If I time reverse, this graph is 1 minus t, because t is made negative. Here it was t, it was 1 plus t. Then I am flipping, I am time reversing. So I should, in the place of plus t, I should write minus t, 1 minus t. So this graph therefore is 1 minus t. Therefore 1 plus t is the rising part of the ramp, falling part of the ramp is 1 minus t. See the time interval. So this is how I describe the entire signal. X of t has been described by this signal. This is the entire duration of the signal. For this signal, I have to find the Fourier series. Yeah. See, when I differentiated a square pulse, I got impulse train, an alternating impulse train. Because of positive and negative step, the impulse train is alternating. So this is what exactly happens when I differentiate a square pulse. Now I am using this second graph for finding my Fourier series of the first graph by using the property called time differentiation, and second graph I am finding the answer for the first graph's Fourier series value. That's what the problem also says. See what I'm doing here. So omega naught is 2 pi by t because t is unknown. So let us use the formula. That is what I'm doing is I'm taking this window has been shown here, no? See this window I'm choosing here. In this window it is one I'm considering one period. This is one period from minus t by 2 to plus t by 2. This is one period. Again if I take another window, same thing repeats. If I can take another window like this, same thing repeats. In this window also one positive pulse, one negative pulse. This is one time period. So the extent of the window is minus t by 2 plus t by 2 because it is a waveform like that. This is one taking this as one cycle. Within cycle minus t by 2 plus t by 2 is one cycle. There are two impulses. So therefore I am writing like this. See, in this zero in y of t is this graph. No, I am writing positive impulse which occurs at minus t by 2. That means minus t naught by 2, that means delta t plus t naught by 2. This is given in the problem itself, no? Therefore I know what is the location of this impulse. So this impulse occurs at t is equal to t naught by 2. Therefore minus because this impulse is negative, no? T minus t naught by 2. So plus delta t plus t naught by 2 minus delta t minus t naught by 2. So this is actually the signal value y of t, then integrate it. So you just take this like this. Now you use a shifting property because now you have to find this integral, no? You should find this integral, isn't it? So you know it is an impulse. When I multiply an impulse with a function, resulting function is an impulse. Let us make use of shifting property. What is called shifting property? Using shifting property, I am getting like this. Now what is shifting formula? Shifting formula is this. This is shifting formula, see? Using shifting property, integration minus to plus infinity x of t into delta t minus t naught is equal to x of t naught. X of t naught. Okay. Exactly this property I made use of here and got the answer like this. So now this much I am using Euler's formula. E power of plus j theta minus e power of minus theta is equal to 2j into sine theta. Sine theta. The property Euler's formula is, if I write e power of j theta minus e power of minus j theta, the answer is 2j into sine theta. This is from the Euler's formula. Euler's formula. This is 2j. That's what exactly I did here. Sine of theta. Theta is k into omega naught t naught by 2. So this is what I do like this. So again I'm writing here, same thing I'm rewriting. Now see what does the differentiation property of Fourier series says. Using differentiation property, that is, this is the differentiation property of Fourier series. This is missing here. Of using differentiation property of Fourier series, if x of t has a Fourier series x of k, if x of t has Fourier series x of k, then d by dt of x of t, d by dt of x of t, that is differentiation of x of t, its Fourier series is Fourier j into k naught, k omega naught, that is phase, into x of k, into x of k. This is what the property of Fourier series is all about. Differential property of Fourier series is all about. That is d by dt. If x of t has the Fourier series x of k, then differentiation of x of t will have the Fourier series simply j k w naught into x of k. See, if you already know the Fourier series of x of t, then you don't have to again calculate Fourier series of differentiation of x of t. You simply multiply j into k omega naught to x of k, you will get the required answer. This is what the advantage of property is. Property, if you apply, sometimes of the transforms, you will find a shortcut method to arrive at a solution in a fast manner. So all the transforms will have their own properties. By using those properties, we can find out Fourier transform or Fourier series of given signal in a easiest shortcut way. That's always the advantage of finding the Fourier series. I mean applying the property of the Fourier series or any other series or transform. So this I'm going to use now. Now I am letting y of t is equal to d by dt of x of t. Therefore y of k, if I find the Fourier series of this expression, what I get is y of k is equal to j k w x k. Now my aim is to find x of k. No, my aim is to find x of k, isn't it? So x of k is what? X of k is this. This is x of k. So this is what? Already I have found this y of k, already found here. No, see, I already found y of k. Sorry. See, already I have, see, this is y of k is this much, already found out. No. So what I do is to find x of k, I'll use this expression. That is for the y of k, what I found here. No, I'll simply multiply 1 by j k naught. Then I'll get my answer very easily. See what all I'm doing. Yeah, this I'm writing here. This expression. No, y of k, already I got it from here. Already I got it from here. I am writing this expression. Then into 1 by j kw. So I'm just modify this. See what are the steps I'm using to modify. It's all self-explanatory. Now I'm using sinc function here. Actually, sine pi t by pi t is sinc of t. So I'm making of sinc function. So this is what my answer expected is. You know, sinc function is a special function in normally used in communication. Where it varies like this. This function always varies like this. Looks like a sine wave, but not sine wave, asymmetrical sine wave. Sinc function. So you'll get a sinc function. If you find the Fourier series of a periodic square wave, I mean periodic square pulse train, you'll get a sinc function, periodic sinc function, non-periodic sinc function, non-periodic sinc function like this. This is the answer. Okay, that's all I wanted to discuss. Thank you.